Hello, PTA family. We are so excited that you've made plans to participate in the 2021 Leadership Convention, which is right around the corner. It'll be here before you know it, and we want to make sure you have all of the information you need to help navigate your way during check-in, workshops, general sessions, and all of the other fantastic events we have planned for you. Whether it's your first time or it's been a while since you've attended, you came to the right place to get informed. So, ready, set, let's go. With the best interests of our PTA family members in mind, and understanding that there are varying comfort levels as we emerge from the pandemic, Florida PTA is this year offering a hybrid event where both in-person and virtual participation have been planned. If you haven't done so already, please register now. Now, a very important note, there will be no on-site registration this year. All event registration, both virtual and in person, must be completed in advance. Advance in-person registrations are capped at 400 this year to allow for sufficient spacing and social distancing. So if you are planning to participate in person, please register now. The good news is there is no limit to the number of virtual participants. So if you are unable to enjoy the in-person Innisbrook experience this year, we do hope to see you online. Please note that the health and safety of our members remains a primary concern. To that end, Innisbrook Resorts have increased its already rigorous cleaning protocols. Surfaces are thoroughly treated with hospital-grade disinfectants, and cleanings are being conducted with increased frequency. The resort has also implemented the following protocols. You will see signage in the lobbies reminding guests to maintain physical distancing protocols, recommended at least 6 feet apart, in accordance with CDC recommendations. Furniture in restaurants and lobbies has been adjusted to allow for appropriate physical distancing. Additional hand sanitizing stations have been installed near lobby and meeting space entrances. Leadership Convention participants should assess their risk and that of their families prior to traveling. While some adults and teens have now been fully vaccinated, many have yet to receive the COVID-19 vaccine, and younger children are not yet eligible to be vaccinated, and therefore remain more vulnerable. Florida PTA is still strongly urging that all attendees wear masks while participating in Leadership Convention. If you are not fully vaccinated and are unable or unwilling to wear a mask, please register to participate virtually. So for those of you who will be coming to Innisbrook, let's talk about checking in. As you enter the Innisbrook Resort property, the security gate personnel will provide you with a parking pass and map. If you're staying on site, you'll make your way to Osprey, the building for guest hotel check-in. You'll notice that all of the condo buildings have Scottish names and are in alphabetical order as you drive through the property. Once you're settled in your cozy room or suite, it's time to head on over to Inverness to pick up your credentials, a bag of goodies, and dive in. There are 3 main buildings where we congregate: Inverness is the large building that stands alone. It will house many displays and also our enormous vendor fair. Edinburgh and Stirling are the two main buildings where our workshops and meetings are held, and there is one big parking lot on the right before you get to those buildings. If you need to drop someone off, there is a driveway that pulls through the entrances to both Edinburgh and Stirling. But please be sure not to block the trams. Oh, and by the way, the trams are a wonderful way to get from your condo buildings to the meetings. However, if you're in a hurry or running late, they may not always be the best option. So in Inverness, you'll see our check-in area being staffed by our lovely office team. Find your line, have your ID ready, and one of our smiling staff or volunteers will give you your bag of goodies and your credentials. There will be some space for you to gather and review your materials with masks in place, please. Select your classes and make sure you cover all your bases with others from your school or county council. Also, there's a map to direct you to the workshop locations. You'll walk often between the two buildings, so if you're comfort conscious, you'll ditch the heels for the weekend. All leadership convention participants will be receiving instructions on how to connect to our event platform or mobile app. It will make things so much easier to navigate whether you are attending in person or virtually. And if there are any changes to the schedule or agenda, you are notified immediately. It's also easy to check in on social media, get access to the workshop materials, and to fill out the evaluation forms immediately following each workshop. So you've got your program and materials, your credentials, and your enthusiasm. Now it's time to hit the ground running. There's so much to do, so many people to meet, and so much to learn. It may seem a little overwhelming at first, but trust me, you'll be a pro by the second day. In-person attendees, make sure you wear your ribbons on the bottom of your credentials name badge so we can see where you're from and if you're here for the first time. If you are participating virtually, show your PTA pride by customizing your background. We also love to see your school shirts, and some groups plan their outfits together each day. Workshops will be available to virtual attendees in both recorded and live online formats whenever possible. This means all Leadership Convention attendees will have access to every class. So if there are 2 or 3 workshops scheduled at the same time, no worries. Everyone will have access to a recorded session. Like I said before, workshops are in Edinburgh and Stirling, as well as our general sessions. Our program showcase and reflections gallery will be in Edinburgh this year. Check your program materials for exact dates and times, and to double check the locations. If you ever have a question or need directions, there will be someone at the information table in the front foyer of both Stirling and Edinburgh to help steer you in the right direction. Also, don't forget that membership awards will be presented at the Region and Council's caucuses on Friday. In the interest of all participants' health and safety, please understand there will be no in-person county council parties scheduled in condominium rooms. County councils are welcome to host virtual celebrations so that their members all their members may participate safely. Or councils may arrange through the Florida PTA Events Chair to reserve meeting room space for a council celebration. Again, I'll repeat, there will be no in-person county council parties scheduled in condo rooms. Each year, we have exciting events that you may purchase tickets to attend. Most of these tickets must be pre-purchased by a certain date, as we are limited on space. Make sure to plan ahead of time. If you arrive at our event and discover you need an additional ticket, check the message board in Sterling to see if someone has an extra ticket they are willing to sell. New this year, the vendor exhibitor drawing will be Friday evening during the meet and greet. The drawing will be promptly at 7 p.m. and you must be present to win. We also have opportunities for you to participate in programs such as reflections and scholarships by purchasing fun ribbons for your credentials badge and tickets for your chance to win some amazing and creative baskets. While at Innisbrook, you can also find places to eat and relax, when you're not in class, of course. There are many pools scattered around the property, but Loch Ness, which is located next to the Osprey Clubhouse, is so much fun for the family. Water slides, hot tubs, waterfalls, and of course, a cabana to order drinks and food. There's lots to do at the end of our long days. Now, down to business. If you're here to represent your local unit or county council, there is the expectation that you will absorb lots of information, make new connections, and share these when you return home so that your PTA can have the most productive year ever. Workshops are the primary tool for invaluable training. Our presenters have a depth of knowledge and experience in the areas in which they will provide training. All PowerPoints and any handouts will be available on the app for you to follow along. It's also important to give us great feedback so that we can continue to improve each year. This training is for you, and your input is valuable. Since the workshops are so important, we want you to have the best experience possible. Please be punctual. And if you're a little late, that's okay. But try to be extra quiet if you do come in a little later than the scheduled start time. Each presenter will have a different style or perhaps a different way of conducting their workshop. Some are more interactive than others, so be flexible and write down any questions you may have that were not addressed. There will be other opportunities to get those answered. While you're in the workshop, please keep side conversations to a minimum. We've all sat next to those two folks who want to immediately chat with each other about what the presenter just said. Meanwhile, you're unable to hear what comes next. Frustrating, right? Don't be one of those guys. You can be the I'm going to give you the parent look if you keep chatting person. You have our blessing. Each convention, we have an opportunity to conduct the business of the association which you're a part of. A large part of that business is the passing of resolutions and bylaws. Sometimes the lingo we use can be confusing or hard to understand. We offer a time prior to general sessions, the resolutions and bylaws hearings, for you to ask any questions or just observe others ask theirs, so you can have complete clarity when entering debate and voting on these items. There's also a resolutions and bylaws information table in the Sterling lobby on both Friday and Saturday, should you have questions. I can't promise that you'll understand it all the first time, but the more years you participate in Leadership Convention, the more comfortable you'll become. And there will be plenty of experienced people around to help guide you through. So now you're in general session. You'll arrive a little early, find the folks from your county, and maybe even dance to the interlude music before the president calls the meeting to order. We conduct our meetings the same way you conduct yours. There's an agenda, a parliamentarian, and we use Robert's Rules of Order to make sure we do things the right way. We have keynote speakers, awards and presentations, reports, and elections every other year. And yes, we'll have debate on the bylaws and resolutions before they can be passed. That's the exciting part. It's exciting because this is the process that you as members use to decide how we take care of PTA business and what issues we will advocate for. Again, in even numbered years, voting delegates will have the opportunity to select who will lead us into the next 2 years of advocacy and family engagement. This being an odd numbered year, we will not be having elections. Your role is so important, and so is your voice. Make sure that you bring your credentials and the other important items you'll need to participate. At the times we vote as a body, we'll hold our voting delegate card in our hands, so keep it within easy reach. Most folks keep it behind their name card in their credential badge pocket. If we have an election, you'll also need it in order to vote for the candidate of your choice. If you're not a voting delegate, there may be a time that you are asked to sit in a designated section. That direction will always come from the chair. And for those members who are participating from home, you will have a polling election capability. Instruction on how to utilize that function will come from the chair. For those of you unfamiliar with parliamentary procedures, we use Robert's Rules of Order to keep us on track, allow business to be conducted in a professional and structured means, and to address any issues or concerns that may arise during debate. Most local units may observe the rules in a more casual way, but during convention, we follow them to the letter. It provides consistency and fairness to each of our members and allows their voices to be heard. If the chair, meaning the president, is ever in doubt of how to respond to a question or motion, she'll have her parliamentarian next to her on stage to offer counsel. It's a lot to remember, and we're always prepared for the unexpected. It sounds complicated, but it can actually be exciting and definitely a learning experience. You'll notice in the general session that there are 3 microphones on the floor, one directly in front of the stage, one to the far left, and one to the far right. These are for use during debate. Microphone 1 is used only for asking a question or for a point of information. Microphone 2 is for those wishing to speak in favor or for a motion. And microphone 3 is for those rising to speak in opposition or against the current motion. Each of these microphones will have assistants next to them to help you make sure you're at the correct microphone. Please note that only voting delegates may be recognized at the microphones. Again, our members, that is, those voting delegate members participating from home, will receive instructions on how they can be recognized by the chair. If you'd like to, in your hours of spare time, you may be able to search for common terms that are used during a meeting, such as making a motion, rise in support or opposition, move to extend debate, point of order or clarification, move to call the question, and so on. Many first-time delegates think that they won't feel the urge to speak, but you'll be surprised how spirited the debate can become, and that you have a definite opinion, or perhaps even a better solution. We offer a delegate assistance table in the back of the room with experienced PTA family members who can help you if you decide to make a motion. I encourage you to get into the mix, listen to all sides, and participate at whatever level you feel comfortable. During debate, depending on the motion on the floor, different types of voting will be required. You'll always be directed how to proceed. As I said earlier, always have your voting delegate card handy. We always secure the doors when taking a vote to ensure that all present votes are counted. That means that if you leave the room while debate is taking place and a vote is called for while you're away, you'll not be able to vote on that motion or come back into the room until all votes are counted. Again, for those voting delegates participating from home, instructions will be given to you on voting. So let me be honest. You're going to have the time of your life while you're learning, connecting, advocating, and stretching yourself over 3 days of convention. You'll feel at times that your brain will explode with all of the information we'll provide to help you and your PTA make great decisions and grow even stronger. The good news is that all of that information is always available. So if you get home, sleep for 2 or 3 days, and then realize you can't find that really valuable resource you discovered while at Leadership Convention, we're only an email or mouse click away. Stay in touch with the folks you'll meet from all corners of our great state, and even more importantly, start planning your next trip to Leadership Convention. Next time, You'll be able to attend without wearing a mask, at least we hope. You'll be skilled and knowledgeable. You'll bring new and emerging leaders. You'll serve on a committee. You'll see your potential and run for office. You'll renew the integrity of the PTA through your dedication and passion for children. We look forward to seeing you at the 2021 Florida PTA Leadership Convention. We're confident that you'll receive far more than you ever imagined and see your way through to a brighter future for you, your students, and your PTA. Thank you, PTA family.